Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, my name is Terry, and welcome to my kitchen. So, today I got a little bit in store for us. First, our topic for the day, if you've seen the thumbnail, we're going to talk a little bit about family. That's a reoccurring theme that is on YouTube, but I want to talk about it from a different perspective. I want to give y'all a little insight on me, about some of my experiences professionally, so I can give y'all my little 2 cents on the topic. And then also, of course, the food. We always here for the food. So we are going to be doing a one pot. It's kind of a one pot meal. It's a budget friendly meal, for the family. We're thinking about family today. So this is a great meal for family. And honestly, you can tailor it to your own liking. Use whatever you have in your fridge. That's kind of what I did. I bought very few ingredients. Most of it I already have. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to do that. We're going to cook that up. Yes. Again, happy Friday. Thank y'all so much for being here. We got Miss Peach Love welcoming everyone in, and make sure you like the video. Hello, happy Friday, Celeste. Oh, she's with a compliment. I love compliments. She said the skin is glowing. Thank you. I think it's the lights. All right, so we're going to get started. Oh, we have Yvette in the building. She says, happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. Again, make sure y'all like that video on your way in. Thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you're subscribed. So we're going to start with our food. Of course, we always start with the food. And we're going to start by seasoning our chicken. So, of course, we're making chicken and veggies. It's going to be a little something, okay? I can't even give you like what's inspired by this. This is something that I do at home a lot when I'm cooking for me and my daughter, especially if I'm on a budget and I'm like, look, food costs so much. Look, I don't care what your income level is. When you go to the grocery store, you notice that you're spending more money these days, right? We know this. And everybody like to blame it on inflation. And a lot of the documentaries and little datelines and all that kind of stuff I'm watching, it's not necessarily because of the inflation. They're making money off us, y'all. So because of that, ain't really much we can do. We a slave to where we live. So we got to be smart about what we cooking, how we cooking it, and to make things last or whatever. You can't have steak and potatoes all the time. Steak is expensive. I don't know about y'all, but a good ribeye steak about $15 a pound. That's a lot of money. Okay? All right. Look who we have in the building already. Derek Gaines. I'm walking in spilling my Henny. Hello, it's me, Derek Gaines. Hello, Derek. Hello, my name is Derek, and I have a... No, I'm just playing. So, food is high as hell, y'all. It is high, okay? Thankfully, there are some food items that I like to buy, that I like to eat, that aren't super hella expensive. And one of those, of course, chicken thighs. Chicken thighs is honestly about $1.20. Wait, hold up. Because it really depends. On a high day, you can get chicken thighs between $150 and $198. That's when they tripping. They usually raise the price to almost $2 a pound, and then they say you can get buy one get one free. But I think these chicken thighs, I believe they were like $128, $129 a pound. So you get a few pounds of meat for like $4, $4 or $5. That's a good deal. You can feed your family, especially if you have multiple kids, a man, all that, you want to feed your family. So, of course, I clean the chicken, and then I always like to chop my meat up. I use a meat cleaver, and I chop it into 3 pieces. So you're going to get 3 pieces out of one chicken thigh. I'm giving y'all all of my tips and tricks. This is how I save money. I literally grocery shop every day almost. So I'm in the grocery store a lot, but we got to be smart about how we gon' buy this food, right? So in addition to that, buying you some meat, and you don't have to do chicken thighs. If you're not a chicken thigh fan, you can use chicken breast. I would actually highly recommend that you get the skin on, bone in chicken breast, and you can chop it up as well with a very sharp knife if you don't have a meat cleaver. If you don't have one of those big meat cleavers, you do have a knife, make sure that you get a knife sharpener, sharpen your knives, take care of them so that they last longer and they work better, okay? And if you could spend a few little extra dollars on the knife because cheap knives, they really don't cut that great, okay? Let's see what y'all talking about. Oh, so how am I staying cool? I'm staying in the house. I'm either staying in the house or I'm staying indoors. So for those that don't know, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's hot as hell here. I think today is like the 22nd day that it has been 110 degrees and higher consecutively. So the entire month of July has been 110 degrees at least. Right now, it is 1:37 p.m. and my watch says it is 111 degrees. I believe it's supposed to be like 115, 117. Keep in mind, it is the desert, so it's a dry heat. It's not as humid, but we did have some humidity last week. So it's been hot here, but hey, it's hot for 3 or 4 months and then it's beautiful the rest of the year. So this is the cost of paradise. Okay. All right. So we're going to season up this chicken, of course. First, we're going to start with Old Faithful green seasoning. Y'all know. Make sure y'all check out my green seasoning recipe. I forgot to put it in the link in the description. Hopefully, for any of you watching the replay, I will put the link in the description. But for those that are watching, you can go to my channel. If you're watching live, make sure you go ahead and put that video as one of your watch laters so you can see how to make some green seasoning. All right, so I'm gonna start with some black pepper, couple teaspoons of the green seasoning. I'm gonna kind of season this up. It's gonna be real cute how we season this up. Oh, my salt source is gone. Uh-oh. So for our salt source today, so y'all know I like to think that I'm international. One of my friends here, she's Nigerian, and one day she came over to my house and we made like a Nigerian chicken stew or whatnot. I'm probably saying it wrong. We made stewed chicken, whatever, okay? And she brought these seasoning cubes, jumbo seasoning cubes. So here's a big pack. She bought these, and y'all, she left a few at my house. I love them. And so a couple weeks ago, I was at a different international store that I don't go to often, and I saw they had this big pack of jumbo. I had to get me some. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use those today. I really love this. It's kind of put you in the mind of like a Maggie cube or let's see what else. Like some type of bouillon. It's good. It's great on like meat and things of that nature. So I'm going to use the whole cube. It's pretty salty. So this is going to be our main salt source. Y'all know me and sodium. So just one of those. I'll show y'all the pack again. I love them. I love them. I love them. Okay. All right. Next thing, we're going to use some Kinder's no salt blackened seasoning. Just a little bit to add some spice to our meat. Maybe a lot of it. We're going to use some Kinder's roasted garlic. Oh, no, I'm not using that for this. Sorry, take it back. That's for our potatoes. So we're going to have some garlic powder and onion powder in here. Then a little different seasoning that you've never seen me use. I just recently bought this from Sam's Club, the Tabitha Brown all-purpose seasoning. This is salt-free, so I've never even opened it. I forgot to open it. Still got the, So we're going to use this. Like I said, it's salt-free, so it's going to give a nice little flavor to it. It has some citrus in it, garlic, ginger, so it'll be real good because we're getting, we're going to get a few little African vibes, a few little Caribbean vibes up in here. It's going to be a different way to season your chicken, okay? Next thing, I'm going to use a little bit of curry powder because we're not currying the chicken, but curry powder adds a really good flavor. Shout out to the Africans putting it in the jollof rice and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, make sure just a little bit. You don't have to do a mild or a spicy curry. Just a little sprinkle. We're not trying to have curry chicken. All right. Next thing we're going to add is some ground allspice. Y'all don't have to add all these seasonings, but again, I'm trying to show y'all different ways to season your food, to bring different types of flavors so you don't feel like you're eating the same thing all the time, okay? I'm going to add in a few dashes of liquid smoke. And then lastly, I'm going to add in some smoked paprika. And then we're going to season this and put it off to the side while we start talking about our topic and cut up our veggies. All righty. A nice little helping of smoked paprika. So let's know what I'm talking about with the jumbo cubes. She said it hit. Derek said it's 80 there. Where are you located again, Derek? I forget. Is it, I think it's the Midwest. You in the Midwest? I can't remember. So it's not that, see, the thing is when I tell people how hot it gets in Phoenix, everybody's like, oh my God, 110. Okay, yeah, it ain't 110 like it is in the South and in the Midwest, close to a big body of water. It's the desert. So it's not going to be like insane humidity. It's not muggy, but any ounce of humidity that we get here, it feels miserable. And the last few weeks, it's been feeling miserable. All right, y'all. So this is our chicken. It's our chicken. Who we got? Who else we got here? Craig says it be hot, yo. Yeah, it do be hot. All right, so we're going to put that over there. We're going to start our veggies. And we're going to start our topic. So, let's talk family. It's no liquor in here. I already know somebody's going to ask. I'm not drinking any liquor. I have some sparkling water with a little lemon juice and some little monk fruit in there. So I made me a little sparkling lemonade. All right. So first, before I start talking about the topic, in this chicken veggie situation, we're going to be using all types of vegetables. So just follow me here. You can choose, you can add, you can delete, whatever you want. This is just to get it good. Look, they know it is hot, y'all. It's actually hot everywhere. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna start cutting up some peppers. All right, y'all. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about family, I've been kind of wanting to talk about this for a while. The Dr. Umar interview kind of struck my interest a little bit more than normal because he said some things in the interview that resonated with me. Unfortunately, a lot of people tended to focus more so on like the Black men and women relationship, gender wars conversation. But like the reason why I wanted to discuss family in particular, because I feel like if we really started focusing more so on family, this whole gender war situation would kind of calm down, because we realize that a lot of that is just so unnecessary. It's just a lot of noise, and it's a way to keep us distracted from what's really important. So for those that don't know, I went to college at, what's that place I went to? I went to Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. I have a degree in sociology. So with these, all the vegetables are going to be cut up into like bite-sized type pieces. We want this to be kind of chunky with the veggies, okay? And we're probably not going to use all these veggies, but if you cut up more veggies, get some Ziploc bags, put them in the refrigerator, and you can use them for another time, another dish. You can freeze them, or you can chop them up smaller, and you can use them in salads too. So back to me. So I have a degree in sociology, and after college, I started working in the social services field. With the emphasis basically on children and families. So my first real job out of college was working as a family service worker in Cleveland, Ohio, for the Head Start program. Head Start is a federally funded program. Usually it's some type of community action agency that's running that. And so everybody knows it's basically like government subsidized preschool. That's what Head Start is. The actual official Head Start program. So that program, I worked at for a few years, moved to Oklahoma, worked as an investigator for the child welfare system or child protective services system out there. And y'all, working at that job, ooh, Lord, it opened my eyes to so much. And the reason why I wanted to just give y'all that little synopsis background on me is because that is really the perspective that I come from when I have conversations about like relationships and families and things of that nature, because I've had the privilege of being literally in people's homes and being able to see how they interact and like those interactions, how they're manifested into why me, Terry, the investigator, end up in their household. What y'all saying in the chats? Oh, look who is here. Thank you so much for joining Real Bravado Network. Good afternoon to you. I see Derek is in the chat talking about don't cut your hand. Thank you so much. I will try my hardest not to cut my hand. I actually burned myself pretty bad last week. It's actually healing. I don't know if y'all can see. Probably can't, but oh yeah, here we go. I had blisters and everything, y'all. It was terrible. It was terrible. Okay. I was not the popo, but people seem to think I was. Well, I don't work for them people no more, so I can say this. Like, people would literally, it was amazing how easy it was to get access to people's homes. They would invite me in. They would talk to me, tell me all their business. And in real life, you are not required to cooperate initially. You're not necessarily required to cooperate with child protective services or child welfare people when they come to your house. You don't have to let them in. But depending on where you are, what state you live in, and the laws there, they do, in most states, child welfare system or the child or CPS workers can go to your children's school and they can talk to them without your permission. So I just say, navigate that system how you see fit, but I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. And this is not the topic for the day, but I'm just gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it at that. 80%, I'll probably even say 90%, but 80 to 90% of the cases that I had, and I was an investigator, the first person who made contact with the family, 80 to 90% of the families that I came in contact with, we kind of needed to be in contact with them. Not saying their children need to be removed from the home, but it was stuff going on that put those children at risk, and it could potentially escalate to a really bad situation. So I know a lot of people have a lot of negative things because there are a lot of negative things that go on in the child welfare system in states around the country. And it's a lot of things we can discuss in terms of race and whatnot and class when it comes to the child welfare system. But most of these families that workers are knocking on their door, they not 100% clean or innocent. They not Joan Cleaver's family. Okay? I just want y'all to know that. Oh, he talk about something else. All right. So I'm gonna chop up my carrot. So I have my green and red bell peppers. I got some onions. I'm gonna peel the carrot and then chop it up. All right. So one of the things that kind of aggravates me when we start having conversations about families and even relationships, people love to, content creators specifically love to use celebrities and people that make exceptional incomes as an example. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why they do, because, it gives context. Everybody, for the most part, knows who these people are. So, like, it gives the illusion of a real world example. But I am here to tell you that, like, the images that we see on social media are not what families actually look like in real life. Like, it's a lot of turmoil, it's a lot of trauma, it's a lot of hell going on in people's households that literally nobody knows about. Just because someone's making a lot of money does not mean that they're the perfect parent. And that is really the angle that I want us as a community to really focus on today. Like, we see a lot of rhetoric on the social media. Everyone's talking about, a man being a provider, a woman being this and feminine and all sort of kind of stuff. People make it seem like, it's the family structure isn't as important if you have either the dad making a lot of money or the mama making a lot of money. Like, it's just so many things that are being thrown out of here. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, but if we're really talking about community and family, we got to have some type of structure. We just can't just throw, crap up against the wall and hope it sticks and makes something pretty. Like, there has to be, we should be doing things with purpose. Because, y'all, these kids out here, they kind of messed up. Like, I know what I expose my child to because I know what I allow in my household. I know that my daughter there is a level of sheltering I do, but there's also a level of, I don't hide a whole lot from her because the world is a real place and I don't want her to be too sheltered. But just because I'm a parent who gives balance and tries to have like a decent household and stuff that's not totally inappropriate, that doesn't mean that my child is coming in contact with people who have same types of households. And I'm telling you what I know. Living in the suburbs or living in a neighborhood that makes, people make a lot of money or people are professional, that does not mean that your child is not being exposed to mess. And so because of that, it's so important that parents actually parent their children. Because if people parented their children, a lot of the things that we do see on social media, we wouldn't see as much. We can't eradicate everything. We can't eradicate all the mess because I'm telling you, there's always going to be a subclass of people. It might sound bad. It might sound elitist or whatever, but that is true. Look at history. There's always been like a group of people who were more focused, and there's always been a little population of folks that, what, YOLO, that's their life model. Yes, I do have the cutting glove. I'm just a creature of habit. Sorry. I need to use it so that I don't cut myself. All right, I'm gonna move these out the way. Okay, so a couple more veggies that we're gonna be using today. I told y'all we got a lot of veggies. So I'm gonna use a yellow squash and a zucchini. If you don't like those, I would recommend you can actually use some broccoli. You can get broccoli crowns and cut those up. Or you could do frozen broccoli, but I would try to do everything fresh because of the way that we're going to make it. The frozen broccoli, it might add a little bit too much water into it. I'm also going to chop up a few tomatoes as well. All right. Let me get this. So as a, oh Lord, as a CPS worker, one of the reasons why I had to stop, and this goes to parenting kids. One of the reasons why I had to stop with that particular job and kind of get out that profession as soon as possible, because I found that I was doing everything that I was supposed to do or needed to do or wanted to do to help kids in my community, like save these kids that were at risk, but it was at the expense of my own child. I remember a time where my workload was outrageous. Oh God, it was outrageous. There were times where I would be so stressed out that I would just come home and just throw things at my house was a mess. because I couldn't focus on cleaning up. My child was, I had a lot of support at the time. I was living living close to a lot of families. So my daughter never went without, of course. But I just felt like I was not as good of a parent. I wasn't as present. Thankfully, my daughter was also really young. So it wasn't as bad as if I was totally not present today with her being like middle school age. But I'm doing all this for other people's kids, and I can't sit down and read books to my little girl for her to go to sleep, and I can't, watch TV with her because I'm stressed out or I'm tired. I'm waking up in the middle of the night thinking about kids on my workload, hoping that like I don't get a call that one of the kids on my workload has been unalived. Like, those are real concerns. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Well, I ain't about to sit here and act like the money was good. The money wasn't good. It wasn't good. But it was job security. I had good benefits. Like, there was a career track. At one point, I had even gotten a raise and a promotion. It was a good career track for those that want to do that. But am I really willing to risk my own family for somebody else's? And don't get me wrong, somebody got to do the job. Somebody got to do the job. But unfortunately, my point is there's so much going on in the world today. There's so many families that are struggling. There's so many people having kids just to have kids for whatever reason. I don't know. I will never understand people who continually bring children into the world and they aren't living in favorable conditions. Y'all, it is amazing to me some of the things that I have been exposed to. And because of that, I am hyper aware of how I am as a mom. I am hyper aware of certain things that I would have honestly never really thought about if it wasn't for the fact that I was working for CPS. All right. Yes. Charity starts at home. Oh, thank you. I just got a notification from our dear friend, Maggie, the substitute teacher. She sends $20, good money for a good cook. Thank you so much, Maggie. I so appreciate you. Everybody, make sure y'all go to Maggie's channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. And also, I think this is the last few days of voting for the favorite chef competition that she's in. So y'all go over there and check her out, get the links, make sure that you are supporting Maggie. Y'all know I love Maggie, our femininity coach. She's starting a femininity community and everything. So shout out to Maggie. Thank you so much, Maggie, for being here. Appreciate you so, so much. Let's see what Celeste says. Woo, that's a real question. Am I willing to risk my family for the sake of someone else's? And when I say that, I don't want to say it in a sense of like, forget them kids and I'll F them kids, that type of, idea or that type of mindset. But it literally was a situation where it was just like, I have to choose what's more important to me. Am I choosing to work this job and to be stressed out and to potentially not be a good of mom as I could be? Or am I going to pick a different route and, make sure my priority is always my child, which always comes back to why family is so important, because I am also a single mom. So that is a harder choice that I had to make, as opposed to if I had a husband or a mate there with me at the time to help me make those decisions, and feel more comfortable with saying I have to walk away from, this job security and this steady, even though it wasn't that big, but steady, great paycheck with benefits. You know what I'm saying? Again, the importance of family. But unfortunately, we have a society right now that isn't really pushing family, at least for people that look like us. At least for people that look like us. I know everybody has heard, has seen Miss Ebony K. Williams on the interwebs. I saw a video. I believe I watched a video on O'Shea Duke Jackson's page last night. And apparently Ebony, who's on The Root, I believe, she has a show on The Root. It's a black news station, basically, or blog. I don't know. Is it considered news or is it blog? Anyway, she was basically talking about women choosing to be single mothers. And like when I first saw I laughed. I was like, girl, who choosing this life? Like, for most people, you kind of happen into it. And when I say happen, it's just like it wasn't planned, but you decided that, all right, I'm not going to delete the child. I'm just going to keep on moving. And I'm a be accountable, figure it out, suffer the consequence, however you want to see it. This is what you're doing. But to say, oh, because I can't find a suitable mate, or because these relationships aren't serving me, because it's literally what she said. These relationships aren't serving me. I'm going to choose to seek the biological specimen needed from somebody that needed some money and relieved himself in a cup. So I'm choosing to go that route. It always makes me think of Phaedra when she checked, this is a Real Housewives of Atlanta reference, when she checked, Phaedra, when she checked Kenya about going and getting artificially inseminated so she can have a baby. But is that really where we are? Like, instead of like being intentional about it and possibly even risking the fact that maybe you won't be a mom because you don't have a mate or a partner or whatever it is that you need or you should have. This is the method that we're taking. Oh, okay. I don't think, look, you will never find me on the internet bad mouthing myself, okay? If it's one thing I got, is sense and confidence. And I have enough sense and confidence in myself to A, recognize these choices that I've made in my life and what those choices, how those choices have led the direction of my life. And B, I ain't about to let nobody try to spray me to make themselves feel good. So I say all that to say, as much as, I recognize how much harder my life has been because I've had to do this parenthood thing alone. At the same time, I'm about to talk mess about myself. However, this ain't the life you want, baby. This ain't the life that you want. Children are great. Children are fun. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't super ever huge on being a mom, but now that I am and have been a mom for 12 and a half years almost, it's nice. I'm not going to lie. I like the fact that I have a child, a little human that I am helped molding and shaping into an amazing young lady. I like the fact that I know that I am leaving a legacy here on this earth. Like, I feel a sense of purpose, even though some women have a hard time with like feeling like, being a mom is a big purpose, but I think it is. It is a huge purpose in life, and I don't think it should be taken lightly. It's not just money that raises children, and that is a thing that I am seeing a lot on social media. People acting like all you need to raise kids is money, and that is not true. Don't get me wrong. You need money, but it is not the main ingredient of raising fairly well-adjusted, happy, normal kids that can be self-sufficient adults that make relatively good decisions for themselves and for those that are around them. Yeah, she is. She says that she's going on this journey. And fun fact, there is a lack of male or black male sperm to do this, to get like artificially inseminated or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. I think it's ludicrous. I'm sorry. I don't care what color the woman is, whether she white, black, or anything in between. I think anybody choosing to raise a child alone is ridiculous. Because at the end of the day, children need a mother and a father. Period. period. Now, of course, we live in 2023, and we know that family structures can be a little jumbled up. We know that things don't always work how we want them to. However, I don't care what the circumstances are of the child being in the world. Y'all gonna have to figure it out. Grown people, you gotta figure it out. I don't care. I don't care. It is very strange. I think it's insane. And I mean, I'm not trying to judge nobody. I understand. I just sat here and told y'all, there is a whole purpose situation behind being a mom. But at the same time, like, girl, what? Also, y'all, I need to show y'all another vegetable that we're going to be putting into our meal. It's corn. So I had 2 corn on the cob. Also, this goes into the budget. So I don't know. Most of y'all probably live in a place that has a Kroger or a Kroger brand store. Y'all know mine's is fries. I'm always talking about fries. Usually, if you go in the morning, you'll see the things that are marked down. The protein, like the meat, they're marked down because they need to get them out of the store before they expire. Produce, everything else. You'll see like manager special, all that kind of stuff. It has some type of red ticket. Today I went because I needed to pick up some salt and things. And they had this corn. It was only $1.50 in the pack of 4. So of course it was almost probably going to expire soon, but I came home, washed it off with some water and white vinegar, and I cut them up. And this is what we're going to also be adding to our chicken and veggies. So just wanted to show y'all that. Make sure y'all check out the reduced meats and things. All right. To go with our chicken and veggies, of course, we need some type of starch. I'm not going to make rice. I'm actually going to make potatoes. I have some small red skin potatoes on the stove already. These, and I have a few cloves of garlic in here. I'm just going to turn that on high with the top on so it can start boiling. It's cold water in there. So it should boil for a while, and then we'll smash them up. Y'all know I like my smashed potatoes. Okay. Celeste says, we have lost a subtle art of communicating, which in turn has affected how we relate. We don't know how to talk to one another nicely. So how the hell are we going to build relationships? See, that's the thing. Unfortunately, it's this whole thing called self-awareness and accountability. And unfortunately, it's lacking. You'll see people on the man side of the internet. They say women, they have no accountability. And they're right. And then you'll see people on the female side of YouTube, and they say men, they have no accountability. And they're right too. The thing about it is, most human beings lack self-awareness. They lack the ability to assess themselves. That's what my friend said yesterday. Self-assessment. And then also, like, people have no idea how to take that ability of being self-aware and assess their actions and like change to be better. Like, instead of doing that, they'd rather point the finger at the other person. I feel like everybody's a narcissist at this point, because it's just like, at some point, you got to look at the common denominator of all of your failed relationships. And that is me included. It's me. If you've had multiple failed relationships, at some point you have to start looking within. And if communication is somewhere that you're lacking, you need to learn how to do better. Like, we're grown. So like, we can't continue to, blame childhood trauma for the reasons why we are the way that we are. Like, at some point you got to be accountable. You have to choose to make different choices. All right, we're going to get ready. We're going to start cooking up. And this is something that, unfortunately, a lot of the parents that I had to come in contact with as a CPS worker, they lacked. They just were not accountable. Again, both men and women. I would have women complain about these men, the fathers of the kids. They're not around. They're not this. They're not that. Baby girl, you got 3 kids by this. You got 3 kids, mom. I guarantee he ain't shit after kid number 3. He ain't been ish since the 6 months into you being pregnant with number 1. You knew before you had that baby that he wasn't ish. But unfortunately, people think kids is going to change stuff. And if anything, kids make things worse. Fun fact. They do. Because now it is no longer about you. It is about that child. It is about that child. Craig is driving. Drive safely. I hope you make it to your destination very soon. Yes. Make sure y'all check out Maggie. She's going to be live in a couple hours. Maggie's been cooking up the meals for her young men. Her sons are so handsome. I saw the pictures. They are so handsome. Makes me wish I had a boy. Every time I see Maggie with her sons, I'm like, oh, they're so cute. I'm not gonna lie. I love seeing little black boys with their mamas. They be so cute. They be so cute. Anyway, all right, let's get started. Let me turn on the camera because we're gonna start by browning up our chicken. Once we brown up the chicken, we're gonna take it out and then we'll start building our chicken and veggies one pot. So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be good though. It's gonna be good. All right. So let's get this on. Let me tell you some of the crazy things that I've seen because it's relevant. Crazy things I've seen as a CPS worker. You know, every time when I was actively doing it, I would tell people what I did for a living. And they'd be like, oh my God, I can never do that. I bet it's so sad. To be honest, y'all, there are some days I miss it. Because I'm nosy. I am dramatic, but I don't like drama in my life. So I enjoy being involved in other people, like involved in a way of like kind of on the outside looking in. I loved going into people's homes, seeing what they was doing, being able to see the family dynamics. One thing that always kind of made me sad is when I would have to remove kids and then like we really couldn't place children with family members because everybody knew what was going on and nobody did anything about it. And this is something that it has manifested itself so many different ways in our community. You know, so many people talking about no snitching and all that other kind of stuff. And like, at some point, we gotta like intervene. Like, what is wrong with people not wanting to tell people you messing up? Like, you not doing right by them kids. You're not doing right by that man. You're not doing right by that woman. Like, why are so, you know, a great person once said, people are being raised to be individuals. And I agree. At first I disagreed, but I agree now. Look, I do kind of miss it. I miss the drama. I don't miss the workload, but I do miss the drama. I miss, you know, coming into work. We probably could have made this hotter, but that's okay. I'll turn it up. I miss coming into work and not knowing what was going to happen. Interacting with the families. Interacting with the families was actually pretty fun for the most part. I really do enjoy talking to people. I learned as a CPS worker, I have a way with people, I guess, and folks don't mind talking to me, opening up to me. But I also just recognize that, like, at the end of the day, no matter what the mom or dad was accused of, they're still human beings. So, like, as long as I treat them as a human being, I can get out of them what I need. Then you might even get a situation where you're removing somebody's kid and they tell you, thank you. Thank you so much for all your help. Because they know they messed up and they can't do this. They know they messed up. All right. So we got this chicken in here. We're going to brown it really good on both sides. We're going to take it out, and then we're going to start cooking up our veggies. Craig said, how that worked? I don't know. I missed it. No snitching when a child. It's amazing to me, y'all. It's amazing to me. And this is one of the reasons why I think that there's a downfall. This is how I know that, like, in real life, the Black community don't exist. Because in what world are we not doing everything in our power to protect children? Children and elderly people are pretty much the most vulnerable people in our society, right? At what point do we... The reason why Homegirl was able to get the police in Hoover to come look for her is because she called about a child. People know that when folks, you know, that a child is in danger, people gonna come. That child is extremely vulnerable. They can't protect themselves. She knew exactly what she was doing, but that's we ain't getting off on a tangent on that. I'm gonna go live again next week. We're gonna talk about this because it's a whole bunch of more stuff. I might even talk about it on Sunday, a follow-up. Because Sister Girl was doing the most. Oh, look at this beautiful color on this chicken, baby. Oh, this 2 pieces of chicken. Oh, look at there. See, look, this is, again, perfect meal option for the family. Let's see. We're supposed to protect the babies and old folks at all costs. I don't give a F about nobody's feelings when it comes to them. Exactly. And I remember working as a CPS worker, and people would ask me all the time questions about things they were concerned with a family member or whatever. And I'm like, if you really feel like it's something going on, call CPS. I don't want to get her in trouble. If those kids aren't safe, call CPS. If you don't feel comfortable going and taking the kids or going and intervening, call CPS. Escalate it. Because at the end of the day, even if you don't, because remember in the beginning I told you technically you don't have to cooperate, but there are ways. The law is on CPS's side because we, and I say we because I was a worker, we are there to protect the children because they can't protect themselves. So the law is always going to be on the side to protect the child. Me, I get excited. This chicken looks nice. Look at there. Let's move this around. We want all the chicken to get some nice color. You don't have to cook the chicken all the way through. It will finish cooking with our veggies. I got to get another bowl, y'all. I'm going to put our half-cooked chicken in this bowl. Y'all know I love my bowl. Shout out to Derek. Thank you so much. All right. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. So people used to be like, oh my God, you work for CPS. Isn't that so hard? No, it actually wasn't. The hardest part about being a CPS worker was the workload itself. Being an actual CPS worker was not that hard. It could be emotionally taxing at times, but honestly, I just kind of always came from the train of thought, this is my job. I'm here to protect the kids, the children. It's about the children. But I will say this. I'm also human. And at the time, my daughter was very young, but my nieces and nephews were all teenagers or on their way to be teenagers. So like I knew the buttons that children can push and how things can escalate if you don't necessarily mean for them to escalate. But unfortunately, that really wasn't most of the cases. Most of the cases, it was literally a lack of structure, a lack of structure. Unfortunately, a lot of the families that I interacted with, they were single parent homes led by women of all races. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of the fathers either had no clue what was going on or they didn't care. I'm gonna keep it real. Some of them didn't care. They made excuses as to why they weren't around. I always told the dads, like, dude, look, this is your child. You're the parent. It is your responsibility to protect this child. And do not let her keep you from your child. And I would give them resources. I would tell them steps that they needed to take so that they have a say so in their child's life. At the end of the day, children need both their mama and their daddy. And it saddens me when I see women, and I'm not saying this just as a woman. I'm not the type of woman that's just gonna always be on the woman's side. A lot of times, these men be out here on some bullshit. I'm gonna keep it real, but a lot of times women are on bullshit too. And there were plenty of circumstances where I saw women trying to keep their children away from the dads, and it really wasn't a legitimate reason. Like, yes, unfortunately, I have to report that I had situations where kids were told to falsely allege abuse on the part of the father. That was something that happened. I literally was in the judge's chambers testifying to the judge that this is a lie. This is not real. This father is not doing anything to his children. People use family court. They do. And I've seen it on both sides, not just women using family court to their advantage and to get back at the men. I've seen men do it too. I've seen it on both sides. I've seen how ugly divorces can get. And I feel like the reason why these things end up happening, these family structures, they fail or they just never were there, was because people are very selfish and they only think about themselves. A lot of the time, both mom and dad, it was all about what they wanted and what would make their lives more convenient. It rarely was about what was best for the child. I'm going to keep it real, y'all. It was rarely about what was best for the child. It was mom or dad having a huge ego and didn't want to relinquish control over the one thing that they can have control over, which is their child. And therein lies why some people feel like they have to be moms or have to be dads. You want to have control over something, and the only person in this world that you can have some level of control over is a child that you brought into the world. And even that has a time limit on it, as we know. And so because of this is why I feel like it's really important for people to have like strong family structures. And it's not just, a mom and the dad in the household. It's a mom and the dad in the household that are on one accord, that agree with methods of rearing children, that have a man that has a plan for his family, a woman who is willing to go along with the plan, or they come up with the plan together, however they see fit. Everybody's family is different. We cannot dictate what people do in their households, but at the end of the day, we need structure. Otherwise, we're going to keep having these domesticated men in the household and these hardened women in the household, and we're going to have, it's going to get worse. It's always going to come back to family. As we cook our family meal. All right. Y'all, this look good, don't it? Don't it look good? Look at that color. All right. So I'm going to take this chicken out. Again, you just want it to cook a little, get a good, nice char. Here. Oh, this looks so delicious. All right. So I'm going to turn the heat down just a little. Our potatoes are cooking up back here. Oh, that's a piece of chicken skin. They're boiling, so I'm just going to let them keep boiling. We got to smash the potatoes anyway, so it's fine. All right, so we're going to start with the onions. Saute those up. We're going to have some nice color in here. It's not going to be boring. I'm going to put the tomatoes in here as well because I really want these to burst. I don't want them to kind of stay whole. I don't have any tomato paste, but if I did, I would add some to it. We're going to get kind of like a stew situation, but not like officially a stewed chicken, but it's kind of along those lines. Let me get another utensil. Y'all, I got stories. It's very selfish. I'll never forget that, going into that judge's chambers and having to tell the judge that, Judge, this lady lying. This lady is lying. The report says one thing, but when I talk to the kids by themselves, they saying another. Their stories aren't consistent. I cannot substantiate these allegations. Look, let me tell y'all the little legal talk. Being a CPS worker made me want to be a lawyer, but it's too much reading. I ain't got time for all that. Look, I am struggling reading the books I'm supposed to be struggling reading, okay? Thank you. When people play with the courts to hurt / erase the other adult, then all kinds of trauma happen to the kids. Now they're all messed up mentally. Absolutely. And this is the thing this is why I said like a lot of it was just like ego on either the mom or the dad or both. It was really their ego. It had nothing to do with child safety and all that kind of stuff. Because again, all of a sudden, this man or woman can't be trusted around the child. All of a sudden, you're afraid that they're going to put your child in harm's way. Girl. All right, so I added the garlic. Now I'm going to add in the carrots. So we're starting with the veggies that take longest to cook, right? I'm going to add our zucchini and our squash last because I did cut them in big chunks because I don't want them to cook too fast. But I also don't want them to be like super soggy either. We're going to season as we go. So I'm going to add in just a little of kosher salt. Just a little bit. And some black pepper. I think I put that up. Here we go. A little salt and pepper. Yes. This is going to be so good. I'm so excited. This really is, again, a great meal for the fam. This is, in my opinion, how you get your kids to eat vegetables. First of all, speaking of families and speaking of kids and they veggies, if you have little children, introduce them to veggies first. When you start feeding them solid foods, and by solid, I mean like little baby food, don't start with the fruit. Start with the veggies and start with the least sweet veggies first. I didn't do this with Avery. I tried to, but I got lazy. You're supposed to introduce like one at a time. So like feed them green peas for like 3 or 4 days and then start with another one. But I would say start with like avocado, things that you can like mash up easily, green beans, potatoes. Avocado is really good. If you can get your kid to eat avocado, you're winning. All right, so I'm going to put some of the peppers in here. I'm not going to put all of them. Yes. This is lovely. It smells so good. I'm going to put a little bit more of that Tabitha seasoning, the Tabitha Brown seasoning. Here it goes. It doesn't have any salt. but it has some other great flavors in here that will be beneficial. Yes, start your kid off with veggies. All right, so we got our carrots. Let's add in our corn. Now I'm going to add the chicken back in here. We're going to add our chicken, and then we're going to put our liquid in here. Add all the resting juices and everything into the pot. This is where the flavor is. So you just want to move the chicken around. Make sure it's in there good. Ooh, look at there. So, y'all already know we're going to add in some chicken broth. This is actually unsalted chicken broth. We're going to put enough in here to cover everything. Turn the heat up because you want to bring it to a boil. Of course, we're going to add some more seasonings because this broth is not salted. It's pretty much the entire container. We'll add a little bit more of Tabitha, Auntie Tab. We'll add in some, ooh, I got a little tinge in my nose. Garlic powder, a little onion powder, and a little bit of salt, kosher salt. Not too much. So we're going to bring this to a boil. Let it finish cooking everything. We're going to leave the top off for a little bit. Well, actually, once it gets to a boil, I'll add the top on it. Let it cook a little bit more. Once it comes to a boil, we can add in our zucchini and our squash. I don't want that to overcook. So back to this comment. Unfortunately, like I said, I feel like a lot of parents their egos are driving their decisions. And so that's why they feel like the other parent or person is dispensable, is disposable. And so if you're really thinking about what's best at the best interest for your child, you're not going to try to get rid of the other parent, because we know as moms, we know we can't be fathers, and fathers know as men, as fathers know, you cannot be a mother. Like I've had friends growing up that either was raised by their dad or they was only raised by their mom. Their dad never came around, or their mom was never around. Maybe she died or whatever. And like, they always seem a little off. Like you could always tell, like, it was just like it really affected them. Like, it really affected them, not just in like, oh, they weren't taught how to be a man or taught how to be a woman. Like, emotionally, there was a void. Like, we talk a lot about like women with mommy issues or daddy issues, or men with mommy issues. Where do y'all think that come from? It comes from a lack of structure, a lack of people making plans to have families and build families and what they want those families to look like. It's not just enough to, oh, I got a good job and, I got a village. I got mama and daddy and my girlfriends or my guy friends. They're going to be aunties and uncles. The kid going to be taken well care of. They're not going to have they ain't going to want for anything. That's not enough. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to minimize that. We know that kids, you need money and all that other kind of stuff. You need other people around. But like, what do you see your future looking like as a family? What do you want for your kids? One of the things that I learned as a CPS worker is children live up to the expectations of their parents, period. If your expectations are low for your children, a lot of times those children really won't live up to much unless they have a lot of tenacity and fortitude. But most people don't just have that ingrained in them. It is something that is learned. It is not something they're born with. So if your expectations are high, even if you don't necessarily tell your kids exactly what you want them to do, but you hold them accountable and you make sure that they are doing the best at whatever it is that they're doing, 9 times out of 10, it's not always guaranteed, but 9 times out of 10, that kid is going to make at least something out of themselves. They're going to be something. They're going to be productive. They're going to be a positive influence on the world. A lot of times when we see, the ratchet and the real ninjas, like a lot of times their home life was trash. Their mama didn't care if they had a daddy. The daddy didn't care what they did. They would talk too crazy. Their parents was calling them ninjas and itches and calling them out their name and like treating them like trash. And so like they're literally living up to the expectations, the low expectations of their parents. Food for thought. Miss Peach Love says, also, the more people who genuinely unconditionally love your children, the better off they'll be in life. Who better than the other parent to be the base for that? Yes. I think it's a matter of being, loving your kids no matter what, but also holding them little suckers accountable. Because we see in the news over this last week what it looks like for people to give their kids the world, tell them their kids are the best. And the moment that somebody tells them contrary to that, they don't know how to act, so they fake their disappearance. Like, let's keep it real. Sis looked like she came from a household where she was daddy's little princess and she could do no wrong in her mama's eyes. And her mother probably was living through her too. But that's a whole nother life. All right, let's see what's going on with these potatoes back here. Let's get a fork and check them out. Here's my other jumbo seasoning. Y'all, I found it. Okay. These are going. They can stay there though. We'll let them keep going. Our chicken is starting to boil. That liquid was room temperature, so it's going to take a while to boil. Let's taste to see if we need more seasoning. Remember to always taste your food as you go. We're going to put more salt. It's good though. It got a nice little kick to it. I might even do like the Jamaicans, put a little ketchup in here for some body. Yes. This is going to be so good. Over those potatoes, we got some dill. I'm going to chop up some dill. Put a little Parmesan cheese in the potatoes, just a little bit. And I have some plant-based creamer. Let me show y'all this plant-based creamer. For those of you who are like me and have determined that milk is no longer your friend, but you still want to have creamy potatoes and things of that nature, I have found the solution for us. Country Crock Plant Cream. It's a heavy whipping cream, dairy-free. You see that? Dairy-free. It is not to be meant to use like milk. It is meant to be used like heavy cream. So you don't need a whole lot because heavy cream is fatty, okay? So we have to be mindful because we're always cooking for health. We're always watching what we eating around here. So just be very mindful of that. But like I said, it is a great alternative to heavy cream. It has a very mild taste because sometimes some of these dairy alternatives, they be tasting too nutty. So I'm here to tell y'all, this is good. No, you got to taste as you go. Taste as you go. Mm. I can actually do dairy. It's just if I do it, I gotta be prepared for what comes next. There are consequences to me eating dairy. So I don't even make macaroni and cheese very often at all. Hello, Mona D. Thank you so much for joining. She says, like the video, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Mona can relate to some of my stories. So I am talking about family structure here. And I'm talking about family structure from the perspective of a former CPS investigator. And I know Mona has worked in the CPS system as well out there in Detroit. So she knows. And I'm letting the people know, Mona, that me working in CPS, seeing a lot of the mess that I saw, a lot of families being broken up, homes being messed up, was due to a lack of family structure. A lack of people properly planning what their family is going to look like. I'm just adding in my zucchini. We making some chicken and vegetables here. I don't want my zucchini to overcook and get too soft. So I'm going to add in that. Put the top on. And then we're going to get focused on these potatoes. See what's going on with these potatoes. Oh, this looks good. It is tragic. I was telling them about the case. I'm not sure if you had this experience, Mona, but a lot of times, people would use CPS as a way to get a leg up in family court, in custody cases, or even divorces. There were so many women and men, but unfortunately, there was more women than men making allegations that the other parent was somehow abusing the child. And so I had the privilege of having to testify in judges' chambers, letting the judge know that these allegations were actually false. They were not true. The child is not in any imminent danger. The dad is not sexually molesting the child or not beating the child. That particular case, it was a mom trying to get her daughters to lie about what the dad was doing because she was trying to keep the dad from having any type of custody of the kid. And it's just like, for what though? This is my thing. Like, okay, you know what? This is my question. Forget what's best for the kid and all other kind of stuff. You want to be around your kid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without no break. Whether you a mama or a daddy, if you have parented a child, whether it was yours biologically or through adoption, whatever, okay? If you've been around kids for any extended period of time, you don't want to be around them forever, okay? There are going to be times where you need a little break. You need some. That is why school is amazing. That is why children need to be around other children so they can be socialized and all that kind of stuff. And parents need to be around other adults so that they have that socialization. We are human beings. We are social creatures, and we need to socialize with like folks, okay? Why would you want to be around your kids 24 hours a day? If it's really not at danger of the children, why that daddy can't take care of the kids? It really grinds my gears when I hear women say, I ain't let him take my baby. Ain't that his baby too? You let him lay up on you, or you climb your big ass on top of him. Y'all had that baby together, and here we are. You can't be choosy now. Don't be choosy now. You can't be choosy now and acting like you too good now. You weren't too good that lonely night, okay? You wasn't too good then. So don't try to be too good now. Don't try to make differences and make it seem like you the better parent. Neither one of y'all was parents beforehand. Y'all both on a learning curve. Kids don't come with a manual, okay? But you can have a plan for what you want your family to look like. And that's all I'm saying. I think people need to properly plan, myself included. Like I'm a part of the clan that had kids too early or too soon or not in the best situation. And I'm telling you from experience, don't do it. So Ebony K. Williams, I understand that you're bitter. I understand that it makes you mad that you feel like you have done every single thing right in the world and you still ain't get rewarded with the man. I get it. Because at once I felt like that was me. Okay. I understand. But you got to let that hurt go. Please don't bring no kids into the world and you ain't got somebody else that can offer that child a different perspective. Okay. Kids need both parents. Okay. Mona says, yes, we got a lot of calls from single moms with custody mudslinging. It was so annoying. And as I literally started my job as a CPS worker pregnant with my daughter. So that's all I knew was single motherhood from that perspective of being a CPS worker. And it was mind-boggling to me. I used to look at these women like, you have a man who literally wants to be alone or literally wants to be with this child. Girl, let that man take that baby. You can go out. Enjoy yourself. You can have something that's your own. You don't have to share. Okay? You can sleep at night with both eyes closed and ain't got to wake up and check on little kaboom doodle. Like, come on. What is wrong with you? Just leave it. Mona says all parents need break, even if the kid. Yes, they all do. Because in addition, like I said, it's not just about finances when it comes to raising children. Okay, kids are emotionally taxing. They are emotionally taxing. In addition to you having to be a mama or a daddy, even when you ain't your mental best, and on having everything going the way you want it to go. Like, kids will push your buttons in ways that you didn't even know that your buttons could be pushed. And a lot of times it ain't even on purpose. It's just them growing and evolving as a human being. Who wants to deal with that all the time? Who don't want someone else to help them in those hard times? I can tell you, as an extremely single mom, the worst part about being a single mom is not having that support of the other parent. It's not the money part. Yes, you always need more money, but it's not just about money. And so many people focus so much on the financial aspects of parenthood that we are neglecting our kids emotionally. And then they growing up being soft batch cookies, or they growing up being soft batch cookies and hard behind women. And then we have situations where people talking about they don't need no man or they don't need no woman and they're going to be single for the rest of their life and F this and okay. But they mad about it because they on the internet crying about it every other day. So clearly that ain't what you want. All right. We might put a little thickener. Let's see. I'm going to keep this heat up. Our chicken is almost done, just about done. Our veggies are softening. I'm going to let this boil so the sauce can thicken a little bit, okay? Yes, that irks my soul. If he was good enough to lay down with, he should be good enough to send. Absolutely. You may want to change the text color in the banner to pop. Oh, I have to figure out how to do that. I haven't changed my branding on StreamYard, but I'm sure I'll figure it out one time. If we're talking about Ebony K. Williams, I agree. Because the thing about it is, let me be shady because it's Friday. Real Bravado Network, you swear you know every man in the universe. Baby, I'm here to tell you. There are some men that are very angry and act like they don't need women, okay? And there are. They ain't that many. They're not that many. But there are a few. They mad. But Ebony done been with black men. She done been with white men. She done been with everybody. And you still ain't found no man, girl. You still ain't got married. You still ain't walked down that aisle. Like I said earlier, it's time for us to look within. We have to look within. We have to look within. Ooh. Yes, Lord. Just a little bit. We did add some zucchini. Zucchini has a lot of water in it, so, you know. Most people want control. Honestly, I had a conversation with a young girl. She's about 24. White girl, too. That's important to note, because some of y'all act like only black people are raggedy. And I'm here to tell you, everybody raggedy. As a CPS worker who worked in Oklahoma, I worked in Oklahoma and I also work here. Everybody raggedy, y'all. It's duds in every race and ethnicity. However, she was telling me about her mom and their relationship is kind of weird. Like they're close, but they're not really. And so one of the things she said, like her mother was a great provider. Her mom and dad divorced when she was really young. So it was just mainly her and her mom, because her dad, he went off and had another family and she just wasn't around them that much. So mom was a teacher, amazing to the kids, but like the emotional connection was just not there. And then she told me about her mom's life growing up and how her mother was forced to kind of be parentified very young. And so even though she was the youngest, she was the only girl. So she had to like cook and clean and take care of her brothers. And because I think it was just the mom or the dad and the two brothers and her. I think mom had died or something happened to her mother. So like it was just this pattern that was just going down. And the girl that I was talking to, she literally said to me, one of the reasons why she doesn't want to be a mom is because she really don't think that she has the emotional capacity to be a mom. Like she didn't learn how to really love a child for real because she never really felt love at home. Yes, she had a roof over her head. She never wanted for anything, but literally she would get in the car. She said, I would get in the car after school and I would, she would make some type of noise or gesture and she would say how she had a bad day and her mother would be completely dismissive. And I can't tell you how many times I spoke with kids and you could tell that the kids were just coexisting in their parents' world. Their parents hardly ever gave a dang about their emotional state. As long as they had roof over their head, clothes on their back, food in their bellies, their parents felt like they were the best parents. And I see a lot of that, specifically in our community, where we see a lot of people, they put too much emphasis on what they're giving their kids materially, what they live, where they live, the cars that they drive, all this material crap they put so much emphasis on that, but they literally don't know their kids. They don't even know that their kids are depressed. They don't even know that their kids are skipping school, grades bad. They acting out because nobody cares about them. They feel like nobody likes them. Again, this is why we need family structure, because there's no reason why kids should be aimlessly going through the world without being tended to. We'll check that. We need a fork. Here's my fork. All right. These potatoes are about done. So we want the potatoes to be smashed up, but they're not going to be like super smashed. They're going to have some texture to them because this is a hearty little meal. This is for the family. I think Mona asked a question. I use chicken thighs, but you can use whatever ones you want. I had about 5 chicken thighs and I cut them up. It was 3 pieces per chicken thigh. So I used a meat cleaver to cut through the bone and all that. But you can use chicken legs. This is like a meal on a budget. So that was one of the things that I wanted to show you all, how you can make a hearty meal that's not too fattening. It's not too heavy, but it is good. Veggies, meat, potatoes. You can eat it with rice or whatever. So yes. You can even use chicken breast, but I would say keep the chicken breast on the bone and keep the skin on so it doesn't dry out. Oh yes, they're super soft, so soft, so soft. Yes, I've literally seen men say they don't need a woman; they could be single for the rest of their life. I've seen it happen. Okay, you might not believe it, but I've seen it happen. I don't say things just to say it. I could care less about proving a point on YouTube. Okay, because in my real life, I'm very secure with what I'm doing, who I am, the type of woman that I am, and the type of people that I have in my life. Like I really don't get down with this YouTube internet mess. And so like I'm not gonna be saying stuff just to be saying it. I've seen unhinged comments on both sides. I have. And that is what we focus on too much. And we focus very little on like what we need to do and how we need to come together. And the big thing, why we need to come together. We really need to come together because these kids are off the hook. They're off the hook. We are literally the generation, Gen X and millennials are the last two generations who literally grew up without two parents in the household. And we see where that has gotten us, y'all. We got men on the internet crying, mad because they can't get a woman. We got women on the internet talking about you don't need no man, and these relationships with men are not fruitful, but you can still have a baby. Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of mess is this? This is wild. And this is all because we don't value family anymore. People are too involved in their own personal egos and what's bothering them. People are so individualistic. Our sense of community is gone. And the reason why Black people in America were able to thrive for a short period of time during Reconstruction and after the abolishment of slavery is because we leaned in hard on community because we knew we were all we had. We've lost that. We've lost that. And it's not all our fault because we know history and we know that white supremacy does play a role in it, but it's not the only thing that plays. At this point, like we know that we can undo some things that we've done to ourselves and we refuse to do that because we're so focused on whose fault is it, as opposed to how we gonna change this for the future. We cannot keep going on like this. Yeah. Put a little garlic in there though, because I love garlic. Real bravado network. Did I say that? You gonna make me cuss you out on live stream. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all be too focused on like the wrong things though. Like you want to like get a point proven. And a point is my point is we need families, baby. That's what my point is. We need families. We need folks to stop trying to figure out who doing this more than the other. Who cares? The fact of the matter is we literally have people acting like family and marriage and having values and all this kind of stuff is not important. Where is that getting us? We've seen 2 generations of grown people on the internet fighting back and forth because they lack family structure. That's what we living in. We living in that time. Who cares who said what and how often they said it? The point is these feelings and emotions are literally being believed, like, and we're living in it. And we're seeing the consequences of it. We're seeing the consequences of people literally diminishing the value of parenthood from both mothers and fathers. We seeing women on here literally throwing their families away because people on the internet told them to. Like, how silly is that? Silly, silly, silly. It is a dog eat dog world. It is. And one of the reasons why is because folks are big on egos. People be in their own ego. They only care about winning and making sure that they're right and proving a point. Very few people are like, all right, whatever. Very few people can say I was wrong about X, Y, and Z. I'm okay with being wrong. You were right about LMNOP. and let's come together. Very few people are really trying to come together. Most people are trying to prove points and be right. And where is that getting us? It ain't getting us nowhere. It ain't getting us nowhere. We know that, and so we need to talk about why we need families and what we need to do to get families back. Bring back the family structure. And it starts with our kids. It starts with our kids, and it's not just our personal kids, but whatever kids you have in your life too. If you an uncle, you an auntie, you a mentor to some kids, big brother, big sister type situation, you go to church, you see kids in your community, kids you close with. I ain't saying risk your life or do anything outrageous, but like there's nothing wrong with being the example, even if you've made wrong choices. And when you have opportunities to talk to young people, hold yourself accountable and let them know I haven't always made the right decisions, but I've recognized the bad decisions that I've made and I'm working on what I can do better. Let them know the things that you turned around in your life so that you can live a better life, and how they can prevent from doing any of that and just be on the right path from jump. No one's perfect, but we can do our best to be our best. But no, we don't want to do that. That's too much like right. We want to focus on who's wrong. So what do you suggest? You suggest being mad and never doing anything about it? You start with your community, who you have, who's within arm reach. Like, and if you don't have a bigger community, you need to create one. Like, it's weird to me that folks don't like try to be involved civically. I guess because I'm a sorority member and like I come from a place where like people engaged in things, fun activities that brought people together. So like it wasn't just the people you saw in your neighborhood or anything like that. Like, you know, we had like little line dance communities and we went skating, and so you had grown folks mixing with children and having the opportunity to talk to them. And then you also have people who are very deliberate about giving back. But like the moment you start talking about things that people can do in the community, that's where all the excuses come. I believe that Omar said it, and I've seen it on some other streams as well and other videos that talks about the low reading rate of Black boys in America. You know how easy it is to either work with another organization or get your information cleared so you can be a volunteer at a school and go read to kids? Do y'all know how easy it is, as long as you could pass a background check, to be involved in like different organizations that are for children? Like there are so many child-centered organizations, and I know because I'm a part of one. I'm a part of an organization that has youth programs where they're in dire need of volunteers to guide these children. But they are not people running to be volunteers. Like this is something that is very easy. You are not going to change the world overnight. As a former social worker, I can tell you, most people are going to fall between the cracks, okay? For multiple reasons. Most people are going to fall between the cracks. However, that does not mean that I am not going to still try to do what I can do. Even if it's only touching one or two kids every few years, that's one or two kids more than I could have ever touched if I set my Black ass in the house and just complained. That's my point. Like we gotta think bigger than what we think. We want to focus on the things that are just it's too easy. It's too easy to sit here and complain about the raggedy men that I have engaged with in my past. It's too easy. It's too easy. I love Black men. I love black men, and you can't tell me the sun don't shine out of a black man's ass. However, it's a lot of raggedy ones out here too. But I refuse to get up on here and complain day in and day out about the raggedy black men that are in the world, because guess what? I have the privilege of knowing quite a few that actually worth something. Even if it was only one, that's one I'm going to talk about. Because let's change the narrative. Mona says, be an example, be transparent, be respectful, bite an elephant in small pieces. Yes, I love that bite an elephant in small pieces analogy, because it's true. And you know it, being a social worker, like, you can't save the world, but like you can do your part. That's the thing. You can do your part. It's y'all, I'm telling you, we got to focus on the kids. It's the little kids, the children, maybe not these crazy teenagers, but it's the little kids that need us, the grown folks who actually got some sense. If you're not a part of like a organization, you don't have to be a college graduate all the time. You don't have to be in a Greek letter organization. There's so many different local organizations. There's so many activists and people that are getting people together so that they can go into the schools and help the kids out, or they're offering mentor programs, big brother, big whatever, right? Like, do something, y'all. Even if you don't have the time, write a check. $5, $10, something. I'm just saying. We gotta take responsibility for the mess that we have created. Okay? We got to. Healthy communities start with healthy families. I had a convo a few months back. I asked the young women who don't have children to volunteer and mentor young girls in foster homes. Thank you, y'all. These kids, when I first moved to Arizona, I'm just talking and going. When I first moved to Arizona, I worked for an organization that worked directly with foster youth. They have an independent living program out here where basically these kids are going to age out of the system, and they're trying to get them to a place where they are able to be self-sufficient. So most of these kids were 16 and over, 16 to 21. Of course, the kids that were 18, they've already aged out, but they can still have an independent living worker, me, help them. And they got money from the state and all that kind of stuff, right? Y'all, it's the simplest things that if these kids that have good foster parents or just someone in their life, they just didn't know how to do. There was this one kid, like, I was the person who helped him get his first apartment. He didn't even know how to write out a money order. He didn't know how to look for an apartment, what to put on the application. I've taken kids to community college, helped them get enrolled in school. Like, y'all, these kids are lost. They're lost. They need grown people with some sense to just show them how to do simple things because their mamas and daddies was raggedy. So again, it's so easy to get involved. It's also easier to sit down and complain. I'm just saying. Let's see. Oh, Lord. I asked that question for Black women. What are we doing to address the Black woman image? Most women said that they gave up because they don't want to smoke. I'm not going to give up. I'm a Black woman. I love being a Black woman. Ain't nothing better than a Black woman. So I'm going to always present myself in the best light. Of course, I might not be for everybody, and that's fine. But I'm going to do what I can do to make sure that I am a good example to my child and other young girls out there. Let's see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss no comments. Think global, act local. Kind of speaks for itself. I'm going to move this out the way. I'm going to put, because I'm going to mash up these potatoes so y'all can see. Think global, act local. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's so easy. It's so easy to be involved. Again, what do you propose? because I can't change an adult. Like, I don't understand like why we focus so much on what grown people doing. Who can tell a grown person what to do? You can barely tell a kid what to do. Anybody who got kids, it's mind-boggling to me that you would ever fix your mouth into thinking that another grown person has control over a grown person. That's wild to me. You know that that is not the case. All right. So let's start with our potatoes. I'm going to put in just a little bit of butter. I'm going to put a little bit of cream. And we're going to start mashing these up. We got our butter. I'm going to also, once I get these mashed up, they don't have to be like completely mashed. We just want a little situation. It doesn't have to be like straight up mashed potatoes. I want them to have some texture to them still. Let's see. I wish a social worker saved me when look. I learned early on in my career that you'll get burnt out only trying to save everyone. You can't. However, Black women of all ages shouldn't be afraid, but cautious. Yes, absolutely. You have to be cautious because you have to protect yourself. I talked about this before you joined the live, Mona. One of the reasons why I had to back away from social services is because it was just like, am I willing to, risk my child and risk my family for someone else's? And no, I wasn't. Not at the rate I was going. Like, the workload was too much. It was getting to a point where, like, I didn't want nobody to, and my child wasn't in danger, but like, I didn't ever want it to be to a point where like somebody could call CPS on me because my house was dirty because I was so goddamn stressed out that I couldn't clean up, or something crazy like that. We've gotten those crazy calls that really ain't much going on in the household, but people be calling just because. I didn't want to be that person. So I had to, take a step back. I tried to do other little things in that field, but actually being a social worker, it wasn't for me no more. I just added in a little bit of chicken broth. There we go. I want these to be a little bit more creamy without adding too much cream. You can also add more cream, but we got butter, we got cream. That's enough added fat. I see a comment. I'm going to pull it up in a minute. All right. So we're going to add some butter to these potatoes. And then also some seasoning. Or I'm sorry, some pepper. So I got black pepper. Our chicken is still over here. I'm just trying to thicken the sauce a little bit. I might add a little bit of, I know what I'm going to add. I'm going to add a little bit of ketchup. That'll add some body and depth to the flavor too. So this is the roasted, and let me move on this comment. This is the roasted garlic brown butter. Oh, this meal gonna be a little hearty. A little hearty. Family is everything. Family over everything. I don't want to say I lost hope for grown people, but as Whitney Houston, she said it best. I believe the children are our future. And they are. And as we can see, the children of the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we were the future at one point. We the current, and it's messed up, okay? And we continuing to mess it up. Folks want to be so concerned. Craig says he sees it every day. I had a client whose mama didn't bother to name her. So her name is Baby Doe. That happens. That's the argument that the women said regarding them intervening. They claimed that they did, so they gave up because they were beyond approach. This is one of the reasons why I said we shouldn't necessarily be hyper focused on grown people. We focus on the wrong things. I'm giving you a solution and you don't like the solution. I'm trying to understand that. People like, where is the solution? Don't y'all hate when somebody asks you for advice and they ask you to help them fix something in their life? They say, what can I do? What is the solution? You give them a solution and they still complaining. You know what? Don't ask me for no solutions no more. Okay. Just a little bit. I'm going to add in. Oh, yes, baby. This going to be good. This going to be good. All right, let's taste, because you got to taste as you go. Let me add a little kosher salt. I like my potatoes on the saltier side. That's the only thing I'm probably going to ever over salt. I was going to cut up some dill, but no. Because this chicken, it's a lot going on. It's a lot of flavors. And we only need the potatoes as like a little base. All right, we're almost done, y'all. I'm going to add in a little ketchup to give the sauce a little body. This is something you see a lot in like Jamaican cooking when they make brown stew chicken or chicken, stewed chicken. They'll use a little ketchup. It does help thicken a little bit. If you don't want ketchup, you can also do like tomato paste. So it'll add a little extra flavor and also act as somewhat of a thickener. Okay. Oh, yes. You see that body? It's body in the sauce. Look at that body. I think Mona says she's going to make this. Girl, this would be perfect for you, your kids and your husband. You can add any type of veggies. I got peppers, zucchini, corn, carrots, onions, tomatoes. You can do broccoli. You can even have asparagus in here. You can have whatever you want. Any type of root vegetables. Yes, girl. All right. We about done, y'all. Real Bravado Network had me about to go off. I'm here for the smoke. Just take it back, baby. Okay. I have an answer that it's not about having control over another grown-up. I'm a Christian man most of the time. Giving up on the adults that have the greatest influence over child is not the way. I like the original. What song? I'm so slow, y'all. These types of conversations we're having on your stream isn't a complaining. We have to put the light the light on this dark, even if we disagree about the approach. I understand shedding light to it. At some point, though, we got to stop focusing on how much light we shedding and really talk about tangible things that we can do to make better progress. Because I do find that a lot of people talk. They talk more than they're ever willing to do or offer solutions to do. Like, this is from someone who literally is a professional YouTube watcher. I watch YouTube. I don't just create content. I watch a lot of people's content, a lot of different people. And I'm telling you what I'm seeing with my own eyes and hearing with my own ears. We got a lot of complainers, very few solution-based folks. And lots of these people, they claim they're men, masculine men, and they rarely offer solutions. And one of the things I love about my dear black men is that y'all be having solutions. I want to see the solutions. I want to hear the solutions. What we gonna do? I'm offering a solution as someone who has worked in the community as a paid employee, government employee, and also as just a person who trying to give back. And to be perfectly honest, if we expect things to get better, we have to focus on the kids. If it's a grown person out there that you can offer some assistance to, help them out, fine. If you want to volunteer at a women's shelter, at a men's shelter, if you want to volunteer with the workforce people and help folks be able to get back on their feet. That's stuff that you can do too. It's so many different things. It's not just the children, but I'm saying as a solution, in order for us to get better as a community, I do think that we need to be more hyper focused on kids, because lack of family structure, lack of exposure to men and women is what's harming our community. It really is. Actually, it is, because that's what we complain about all the time on this here YouTube. The lack of feminine women and masculine men. We complain about that every single day. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure these young boys and girls that are growing up, they're growing up to be feminine women and masculine men. And hopefully they have babies together and, you know, the community get better. Let's play. Let's play. I'm going to turn this off. This looks delicious. It looks scrumdiddlyocious. All right. So I'm going to have a nice little mound of potatoes in the middle of my plate. Like so. There we go. All right. I need something good to, let's see how I'm going to plate this. This is the one thing about plating. You got to be strategic how you place your food on the plate. Otherwise, your plate going to look ugly. Okay. Let's get a nice little piece of chicken. There we go. Let's start with this one. Put a few pieces on here. You know, you can give your man a big piece, girl. Make sure he eat good. That man is bringing a plan for the family. Make sure the family got some structure. Come on. Big piece of chicken. Okay. Let's get some of these veggies. Yes. Y'all already know I gotta have my garnish because I'm a food stylist some days. All right. Put a little parsley on top. Get this out of the way so y'all can see our plate of food. I'm excited. Very hearty. But y'all see me make it. It's not a lot of extra unnecessary fat. We didn't even add any additional olive oil. The olive oil we use to brown our chicken, that's the same olive oil we use to saute our veggies. We didn't add any like butter or anything to the sauce. We did add a little ketchup. Let me put a little bit of extra this sauce on here because this sauce looks amazing. This is a nice hearty meal, okay? Yes. Some meat and potatoes for that man. I'm a woman. I love to cook. So I'm always come from the perspective, cook for your man, bro. That's the least you can do. It's a reel out here of a girl talking about, that's the least you can do for your man. He pay all the bills. That's the least. He want a meal. She left the girls' day at the pool. I said, baby girl, that's me too. I'll see y'all later. I got to cook for this man. Okay. Let me move this back here. Oh, I'm so excited for y'all to see this dish. It's so pretty. It is not gumbo. Don't say that. I don't want the Louisiana people coming for me. So don't call it gumbo. It's more like a stew. All right, y'all. Y'all ready? Ooh. It looks delicious. All right, let me get a picture. Let me text my daughter. Okay. Let me get a picture and a video. And then I got to go pick my child up. I got to go be a mom. School is out. All right. We got a picture. Oh, this looks so good. Definitely should try this out. It's such an easy dish. But we did things a little bit differently. Some with the seasonings, we played around with them so that we can have a few different flavors. Of course, you can personalize it to your own liking. Whatever veggies and things that you want to use. All right, y'all. Let's taste. All right. It's such a hearty dish. Okay. Let me get a little chicken, a little mashed potato, and a little piece of vegetable. Here we go. I just realized I didn't put the cheese and the potatoes when needed. This chicken is so tender. It just, the fork just break it all apart. Tenders, yeah. I'm always pushing that stuff. I be tagging them, everything, y'all. Tell them, holla at me. Come sponsor me. That's why I have so much respect for your platform, Crimson, my sis, because we have to be proactive. I love Crimson Cure. I'm reading her book, y'all. I am reading her book. I love Crimson Cure. I am not familiar with the. I didn't know that was a remake. But look, Derek, you a few years older than me, so. Thank you, y'all. What RBN say? Tonight I'm releasing a Dear Black Woman clip, and it's about having a good faith conversation. There are men like me actually begging Black women to come fix this ish with us. Okay, I'm excited to see it. I'll go ahead and put my notifications on. Thank you. Did you catch MTR's video addressing the Black woman image from the recent foolishness? I didn't catch it. I know you're talking about RBN. I actually will discuss. I think I've been telling y'all I want to have a conversation about like the over sexualization of Black women, because it's a pain in my butt. That is something that's really, it's something that really annoys me. I don't call people like old and stuff, but you are older than me. There's nothing wrong with being older than me. But I know it was an original song. I thought the Whitney Houston song was the original. I didn't know that it was another one made. So my bad. I'm gonna have to look it up. But yes, I do want to do a video about the over sexualization of Black women. It kind of ties along into this topic as well, because it's just the direction that we're going is just a lost direction. It's not helping. It's hurting. I'm not about necessarily policing people. If people can do whatever they want to do, but there was a moment in time where we complained because there was nothing but negative images about us, Black men and women, in the media. And we're getting back to that point where all we see is negativity. And it's because our children, and this is why I focus so much on children, because our children is growing up in a society where everything is online, like their phones, their devices, the internet is their life. If you have smaller kids, it may not be their reality now, but I guarantee you the moment they get to middle school and high school, that's going to be their life. So we have to be mindful about these images, because our kids they're sucking these images in, and it's not helping us. All right, y'all, I got to go. It was nice talking to you. We had a long live today. We had a great conversation, some seriousness, but we need to talk about it. So there we are. I will be back most likely on Sunday. So y'all will check keep a lookout for the notification. Again, thank y'all so much for being here. Shout out to Maggie, the substitute teacher, for being the stream sponsor for the $20 Cash App. I really appreciate you, Maggie. I appreciate y'all for being in the chat and being so engaged. Great chat. Thank you so much, Mona, for coming in and offering your perspective as well as a CPS professional. It came out in 77. Okay, that was long before my time, baby. I was born in 1985. I will be 38 in a month. My birthday is next month, y'all, on August 21st. I'm a Leo, so I got to tell y'all, August 21st is my birthday. Let me get my Amazon wish list if you want to send me a birthday gift, okay? All right. Shout out to Celeste. She says, thank you again for Terry for showing us that healthy food does not have to be bland. Absolutely. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like the video. I will see y'all next time. Bye.